What is great enlightening beings' unattached, unbound, liberated dedication? Here they honor and respect all roots of goodness. That is to say, they honor and respect emancipation from birth and death, embodiment of all roots of goodness, seeking all roots of goodness, repentance of past acts, moral support of roots of goodness, expression of respect for Buddhas, making prostrations before tombs and shrines, and exhorting Buddhas to expound the teaching. They honor and respect such various roots of goodness, recognizing and approving them all. When great enlightening beings honor, respect, recognize, and approve these roots of goodness, they are extremely delighted and affirm their faith, attaining peace and stability themselves, and also enabling others to attain peace and stability. They diligently cultivate roots of goodness without attachment, freely building them up, developing supreme determination, abiding in the realm of the enlightened, their power growing, able to see and know all. They dedicate the roots of goodness in this way, with unattached, unbound, liberated mind to accomplish the deeds of universal good, with unattached, unbound, liberated mind to purify the speech of universal good, with unattached, unbound, liberated mind to perfect the mental action of universal good, with unattached, unbound, liberated mind to arouse the vast energy of universal good, with unattached, unbound, liberated mind to fulfill the methods of concentration formulae of unobstructed expression of universal good, their voices pervading the 10 directions, with unattached, unbound, liberated mind to fulfill the method of concentration formulae for perceptions of all Buddhas of universal good, always seeing all Buddhas of the 10 directions, with unattached, unbound, liberated mind to achieve and understand the method of concentration formulae of all sounds, the same as all sounds, expounding infinite principles, with unattached, unbound, liberated mind to accomplish universal good's method of concentration formulae, abiding through all ages, cultivating enlightening practice everywhere in the 10 directions, with unattached, unbound, liberated mind to accomplish the power of freedom of universal good in the body of one being, showing the cultivation of the practices of all enlightening beings eternally throughout the future, ever unceasing as in the body of one being, so also in the bodies of all beings, with unattached, unbound, liberated mind to achieve the power of freedom of universal good, to enter into the enlightenment sites of all congregations, appearing before all Buddhas and cultivating the practices of enlightening beings, with unattached, unbound, liberated mind to accomplish the power of freedom of Buddhahood of universal good, and appear to spend endless eons on various methods, causing all sentient beings to attain entry into enlightenment, appearing bodily before all Buddhas, with unattached, unbound, liberated mind to attain the power of freedom of universal good, and, moment to moment, enable untold beings to abide in the knowledge of the 10 powers without weariness of mind, with unattached, unbound, liberated mind to accomplish the power of freedom of universal good in the bodies of all sentient beings, manifesting all Buddha's autonomous spiritual powers, causing all sentient beings to live by the practice of universal good, with unattached, unbound, liberated mind to develop the power of freedom of universal good in the speech of one being, producing the speech of all beings, causing each and every being to dwell in the stage of universal knowledge, with unattached, unbound, liberated minds to attain the power of freedom of universal good and contain the bodies of all beings in the body of each individual being, causing all to think they have attained the Buddha body, with unattached, unbound, liberated mind, to achieve the power of freedom of universal good and be able to adorn all worlds of the 10 directions with a single flower. With unattached, unbound, liberated minds, to accomplish the power of freedom of universal good and produce a great voice pervading the cosmos, heard in all the Buddha lands, pacifying all beings. With unattached, unbound, liberated mind, to attain the power of freedom of universal good, able to enter in each passing instant of the endless future all worlds everywhere, adorning them as they wish by the spiritual power of Buddha. With unattached, unbound, liberated mind, to achieve the power of freedom of universal good, and through the ages of the future always be able to enter into all worlds and manifest attainment of Buddhahood in the world. With unattached, unbound, liberated mind, to accomplish the practice of universal good, with one light illuminating all worlds in the realm of space. With unattached, unbound, liberated mind, to achieve the practice of universal good, attain immeasurable knowledge, be endowed with all spiritual powers, and explain all kinds of truths. With unattached, unbound, liberated mind, to accomplish the practice of universal good, and enter the eternal immeasurable spiritual knowledge of the enlightened. With unattached, unbound, liberated mind, to accomplish the practice of universal good, abide in the realm of the enlightened ones throughout the cosmos, and by the spiritual power of the enlightened, cultivate the physical, verbal, and mental actions of the practices of enlightening beings, never flagging. With unattached, unbound, liberated mind, to accomplish the practice of universal good and be pure in speech, not deviating from the truth or corrupting the teaching, with inexhaustible eloquence, teaching and pacifying all sentient beings so that they may attain the unexcelled enlightenment of all Buddhas. With unattached, unbound, liberated mind, to cultivate the practices of universal good, and, when entering into a single aspect of the teaching, emit immeasurable light, illuminating inconceivably many aspects of the teaching, abide in the practices of enlightening beings, master the teaching, arrive at the other shore adorned by universal good, and examine and gain understanding of every single object by means of universal knowledge, without universal knowledge being exhausted. With unattached, unbound, liberated mind, to live by the practice of universal good, from this life forever onward, never ceasing, attaining omniscience and realizing innumerable truths, to be ultimately free from confusion and delusion in regard to truth. With unattached, unbound, liberated mind, to cultivate the work of universal good, with mastery of technique, attaining the light of truth and illumining the practices of enlightening beings without obstruction. With unattached, unbound, liberated mind, to cultivate the practice of universal good and attain knowledge of all means of liberation, that is, innumerable means, inconceivable means, the means of enlightening beings, the means of universal knowledge, all enlightening beings, means of training, means activating innumerable cycles of teachings, means appropriate to unspeakably many times, means of explaining all kinds of methods, means of the boundless treasury of fearlessness, means of explaining all truths. With unattached, unbound, liberated mind, to live by the practice of universal good, accomplish actions that cause all witnesses to rejoice and not to give rise to slander or repudiation, and to set their minds on enlightenment with ultimate purity, never regressing. With unattached, unbound, liberated mind, to cultivate the practice of universal good and attain pure knowledge of the languages of all sentient beings, fully adorned by all verbal expression to respond to all sentient beings and gladden them, with unattached, unbound, liberated mind, to abide by the practice of universal good and establish an extraordinary will, have a pure mind, attain great spiritual powers and vast knowledge and wisdom, and go to all vast worlds and vast lands and to immense congregations of sentient beings, and expound unspeakably many far-reaching teachings of the Buddhas, their treasuries full of vast adornments.